Good morning. The Bible teaches us that God is omniscient. Omniscient. The three omnis: omnipotence, omnipresence, and now today, omniscience. Omni again means all. Science has to do with knowledge. Omniscience, so it looks like omniscience when we write it out. But God is all-knowing. That is, He knows everything, and by everything we mean He knows everything actual that really happens, everything possible, everything what we call counterfactual, everything that could happen. He knows everything, past, present, and future. And so God, who is the author of our lives, who's the author of the whole story, who lives in a relationship of causing things primarily, being the direct cause of things, or of being a secondary cause, being one who is, in that sense, not the direct cause of something, but is the one who permits it and sustains it. All things happen because God either allows them or causes them. Now, this is important to understand because this is what brings meaning and suffering and a host of things. That means that everything that happens by His knowledge. Happens by His knowledge. So that things that we wrestle with, sin that happens, God isn't the direct cause of my sin. He could stop me from sinning. Of course, He's all-powerful. But He doesn't. Why doesn't He? Well, He doesn't because of His omniscience. There are things that God, whether how it cashes out in this life, for me and for others, or the way that it works in the big framework of His infinite, eternal plan, God permits. His omniscience is intended to be a doctrine that rescues our hearts because it reminds us that God knows what He's doing, even if I don't. C.S. Lewis used to talk about how sometimes we feel like a canvas, where a canvas gets scraped and rubbed and poked and prodded and pressed by the artist. And if the canvas could be sentient, if it could talk, it would say, "Stop, you're hurting me, stop, you're hurting me." And yet, that's because the canvas, C.S. Lewis concludes, doesn't know what and cannot see what it is becoming. But the artist can. The artist has knowledge that the canvas doesn't. Now, Job 37, verse 16 reads this way: "Do you know the balancings of the clouds?" This is Elihu asking Job. Do you know the balancings of the clouds? Of course not. "The wondrous works of Him who is perfect in knowledge." That is an ascription given to God. Perfect in knowledge, or complete in knowledge. Yesterday, I mentioned Psalm 139 as we talked about omnipresence. Verse 7 through 12. Here are the 6 verses before that talk about omniscience. "O Lord, you have searched me," Psalm 139 verse 1, "and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all of my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether. You hem me in behind and before, and lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It's high. I cannot attain it." God has intimate knowledge of you and exhaustive knowledge of the world. That means that whatever you're facing, when you pray, you are appealing to one who knows and will act perfectly out of that knowledge in regard to His eternal plan and in regard to you. These omni attributes should give us great confidence as we come to God. So you rest in His omniscience. While we have limited sight, He doesn't. May the Lord bless you today.